Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, first things first, would you like to reveal your name for this interview?
No. Sure.
Okay, so what's your name? Tell us.
My name is Devishi Sibble.
And what do you identify as in terms of the community? Like, are you straight? Are you a part of the community?
I'm straight.
Okay. So we have some following questions for you about the community, which we would want you to answer. Impromptu, don't think too much about it, just tell us your true opinions. So first one being, what do you think the LGBTQ plus stands for in the LGBTQ plus community?
Lesbian, bisexual, lesbian, gay, B, bisexual, LGBT is transgender, Q is queer, and plus is every other sexuality on the spectrum.
Okay.
Lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, questioning, and then further if you add INA, then intersex and asexual.
Are you close with anyone from the community? If so, can you describe a relationship with them?
I'd like to think so, that I'm close with some people from the community, and they're very close friends of mine, and I don't think that it's not like, oh, I have to be careful while interacting with them because I don't want to it's like a natural normal friendship, just like any other friendships that I have. So I don't think too much about it. It's a friendship.
Yeah, so my best friend is bisexual, and a lot of my other friends are also on the spectrum. I mean, LGBTQ plus spectrum.
Yeah. Okay, so if someone comes out to you, how would you deal with the situation?
I would be completely normal with it. I mean, it's just like another piece of information that they're giving me about themselves. So I'll react normally only. I mean, there are a lot of friends of mine who have come out to me in the past. So I've just said, oh yeah, cool.
First, I would ask them if anybody else knows, how many people know, if their parents know, mainly, if their parents would be okay with it, what pronouns they would want me to use in front of their parents and when we are alone, because they would want different pronouns during those two situations. And also if they would like any kind of help from me, if they would want someone they want to talk to, just listen to, like if they want me to just listen, or if they need me to say something, or if they need me to get in touch with some kind of helpline, etc.
Yes, thank you. So what do you think is the meaning of an ally?
I think an ally is anybody who supports and actually stands up for them. I would say, other than just saying lip service, or rather than just being okay with them, it's to make sure that if someone says something about your friend from the community, you stand up for them.
An ally is someone who supports the community and is not homophobic and accepts and appreciates everyone who's a part of the community.
So would you identify as an ally of the LGBTQ plus community?
Yes.
I like to think so.
Alright. So like in what ways do you actively contribute to the community then?
I don't do anything directly, but I try to share as many resources as possible on my social media.
So if I see anyone saying something that is wrong or homophobic, I try to correct them always. And all of my friends who have come out to me, I just inform them that if there is anything that anyone ever says, or if they ever need any help in times of emergency or anything, they can reach out to me. So like I'm always there for them, and I try to spread awareness, and I try to educate those around me who don't really know much about the LGBTQ plus community.
So how do you generally respond to a homophobic or transphobic comment you come around on social media or real life?
I try to correct them, and I try to tell them that it's wrong. And if after a lot of attempts they are not willing to understand, then I prefer not engaging with them. So if it's like a casual friend of mine, like not exactly a friend, but like an acquaintance, and they're not willing to understand my perspective, I would try to tell them day in and day out that they're wrong. But after a point, I would choose to not engage with that person. I would choose to stay away from that person.
Usually I would try to straight up be like, hey, that was homophobic, or hey, that was transphobic. I don't appreciate that language. And if it was directed towards a person with me or something like that, I would try to take them aside later and make sure they're okay, or if they were triggered by it.
So why do you think that the members of the community are still prejudiced against?
So I think two things. One is personal, religious, or otherwise beliefs, which makes them feel like others should also follow their way of life, follow their beliefs and values, which is not right, of course. And the second one is fear of the unknown. I think that a lot of them haven't met people from the community, and that's why they don't know that they don't know how to behave with them or how to talk to them. Sometimes uh, having a diverse friend group or a acquaintance circle will help with that more, because you need to mingle with all sorts of people.
I think a lot of it comes from misinterpretation of religious texts, and which is not really correct. And a lot of it also comes from the way people have been brought up. So, say if there's some children being brought up in an environment that is homophobic, they would grow up being a bit skeptical about the community. But at the same time, there are a lot of examples of people who grew up in homophobic households but are actually allies. So it all depends on the kind of education that a person is getting, and the kind of peers that the person has, and the kind of people that the person has around them.
So what is your opinion of the representation of the LGBTQ plus community in media?
I think one of the biggest issues is the use of the word folks and women with an X to include the queer community. But I think that makes it even more of a problem, because it's like you're saying that when I don't use women with an X or folks with an X, I am not including the queer community. That's what you're saying. To check whether if my uncomfort with this word was right, I spoke to people from the community and they felt the same. So I don't use folks with an X. And one more thing is, there's this movie called Kanchana in Telugu and Tamil, and it follows the story of a trans woman who dies and becomes a ghost. But the thing is, more than representation, it led to more problems, because Kanchana became a slur and yet another slur used for trans women. And that shouldn't have happened through representation in media. That's not what representation in media is about.
Have you watched Ayushmann Khurrana's movies such as Shubh, Mangal, Zyada, Saavdhan and Chandigarh, Kare, Aashiqui, which involve storylines about members of the community?
Yeah.
So what would be your opinions about the films? What would you like to talk about? Like, how would you sort of interpret the characters? Do you think that the interpretation was correct or was it false?
I really enjoyed Shubh Mangal Saavdhan because it was one of the first times that I was seeing an Indian Bollywood basically take up an issue or take up two gay characters in that movie and actually representing them properly, because what we had seen in the past was just bad representations, stereotypical representations of gay people, LGBTQ plus people. And this time I was really proud of the way they had actually picked on some issues, and it was a good start. There is a long way to go. I mean, it couldn't have been perfect, but the fact that someone mainstream like Ayushmann Khurrana was acted in the movie and played a gay character, I think in itself educated a lot of people who were not willing to accept the community. Same with Chandigarh Kare Aashiqui. I think it was brave to bring a movie in an environment that is not really, you know, that really doesn't accept people that much, and it picked on a lot of issues that I thought needed a lot of that people needed to learn about, and in that sense, I think it's a good start.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.